Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, welcome to the show Sports Spring on Western Spring Television, where we give you stories making headlines in the ever-busy world of sports. My name is Joseph ATEWEH, saying good morning.
And I am NENGI ERNEST-ADEMOLA. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. Joseph, what a night yesterday in the UEFA Champions League. Of course, just like we had a very surprising upset day before yesterday where Arsenal lost to Lens. That was how we also had another surprising result from Newcastle United versus Paris Saint-Germain. Now, all of this and more would definitely form part of our discussion on the show this morning. But definitely, let's start off from a news making the rounds in the world of sports when it comes to the 2030 World Cup.
Yes, that's where we start from. 3 continents will be hosting, 6 nations are set to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup.
And the 2030 World Cup will be held across 6 countries in 3 continents, and FIFA has confirmed this. Now, Spain, Portugal and Morocco have been named as a co-host, with the opening 3 matches taking place in Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay. The opening matches in South America are to mark the World Cup centenary, as it will be 100 years since the inaugural tournament in Montevideo. The decision is set to be ratified as a FIFA Congress next year, and FIFA also confirmed only bids from countries from the Asian Football Confederation and the Oceania Football Confederation will be considered for 2034 finals. And following that decision, Saudi Arabia announced it would be bidding to host the tournament in 2034 for the very first time. And also we understand the fact that the deadline for prospective hosts to submit confirmation of interest is 31st of October. And FIFA's decision to host the 2030 tournament across multiple continents have drawn criticism, with one supporters body accusing football's world governing body of engaging in a cycle of destruction against the greatest tournament on earth. Joseph, do you share in the same opinion?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is to cut it across all board and ensure that more nations participate, more nations enjoy what it takes to be part of the biggest global event. Talk about the FIFA World Cup. And well, people will criticize no matter what you do. So I still feel like I stick with FIFA.
Well, I think I want to stick with FIFA this time around. But however, I think there are advantages to this and also disadvantages to this particular, FIFA, spreading its wing across board, across, different continents and different countries. There is this spectacle that would definitely come with this particular 2030 World Cup. However, 6 countries qualifying automatically, I think that's a bit crazy if you ask me, because I wouldn't see that competition between these countries other than the main event, seeing them. And aside from that, another thing would be the traveling aspect of it, the traveling aspect of the players, the traveling aspect of the fans also. However, I feel like the stadium is still going to be filled to the brim wherever is hosting, either in Spain, Morocco or the other country. But then again, FIFA, let's also understand that they are also trying to make more money out of this particular competition, and definitely they want to still, in that instance, appease every one of these countries, every one of these, people and all of that. So I think that's what is happening currently. And aside from that, this arena whereby it's just one country that is to host a particular tournament as big as the FIFA World Cup, I think this particular, age and time, I think it's far gone. And of course, FIFA is just looking for a way to, broaden the perspective of this particular FIFA tournament. So definitely God keeping us alive. We're hoping to see more spectacle, which is going to be very adventurous when it comes to the 2030 World Cup.
All right, away from that, we know that World Football Governing Body FIFA has appointed Portuguese referee Luis Godinho to officiate the international friendly match between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. The encounter, which will take place at the Estadio Municipal de Portimao next week Friday, will see Godinho be assisted by compatriot Bruno Jesus and Thiago Costa, and not forgetting Miguel Nogueira, at the match kicking off by 5 p.m. Portuguese time, at same time as in Nigeria. Also appointed Helder Carvalho to head the situation, the video assistant referee to be assisted by Bruno Vieira.
And they're still giving you updates are coming from the Super Eagles. Now, barring any last-minute change, the Rwandan Football Federation is working around the clock to ensure that their 2026 World Cup qualifier is played in their country. Rwanda is placed in the same group with Nigeria, Super Eagles, South Africa, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, and Benin Republic. Rwanda, let's also let you know, is among the countries that do not have an approved stadium for the qualifier, and they're expected to play their home game away from home. However, the government of the country and their football federation are working assiduously to ensure that the renovations of the famous Amahoro Stadium are completed before the start of the qualifier. And just to also let you know that the stadium completion is near 90% and is going to be increased from 25,000 capacity to 40,000 capacity just for them to be able to play their home games for the 2026 qualifiers. And of course, moving into other stories, let's move over and talk about the Under-20 World Cup. It seems to be like there's an increase as it concerns the participation of Team 4, the Under-20 World Cup. Now, the World Soccer Governing Body has announced the increase in the number of teams that will take part in the 2024 Under-20 World Cup. The competition started in 2002, just to let you know that, with Canada as a host country, and 16 countries took part when it started in 2002 with Canada. Then the United States beat the host in the final by a lone goal. And since then, the tournament has remained a 16-team competition, and it's played every 2 years. We're still talking about the Under-20 World Cup, which is slated for 2024. But right now, the World Football Apex Body held its Congress on Wednesday and agreed that the number of participating teams be increased to 24. So we have from 16 now increased to 24. And therefore, the approved slot allocation will be as follows. For the AFC would have 4 countries. From CAF would have 4. From CONCACAF would have 4 also. From CONMEBOL would have 4. From the OFC region will have 2. From UEFA would have 5. And then the host country, which is Colombia, definitely that is 1. And the competition is slated to take place from the 31st of August to the 22nd of September 2024. Recall I told you about the fact that whenever it comes to a world stage tournament, it's definitely taking a turn for the better, and it's definitely taking a turn for development. And this is an update coming from the Under-20 World Cup. From the Congress that was held yesterday, the teams for that particular World Cup, that's the Under-20 World Cup for 2024, has now been increased from 16 teams down to 24 teams.
All right, so with more stories making the rounds in the world of sport, and still talking about FIFA and CAF, we understand they're having a key discussion on the timing for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. You recall that some weeks ago we spoke about it, why they'll be moving it to June, July. But now we understand that both parties will be having a key discussion.
Exactly. Now, let me give you a bit of the details as it concerns that. The Vice President of the African Soccer Ruling Body, Ahmed Yahya, has confirmed they're in discussions with the World Soccer Ruling Body over the timing of the 2025 African Cup of Nations. North African country Morocco was awarded the hosting right of the 2025 edition of the tournament, and CAF, immediately after the announcement of the host, declared that the competition will be held in the summer of 2025, which might clash with FIFA Club World Cup. Now, the Mauritania football administrator, while speaking to Canal Sports, said they are speaking with FIFA to harmonize the calendar. And according to him, he said, we are aware that the Club World Cup will be held in June 2025, and there are already negotiations between FIFA and CAF to find a lasting solution. Egypt in 2019 was the only time the competition has been held in summer. So it's not just about FIFA and, of course, the European competition. It's now about FIFA going against some CAF, competitions at this point in time, and that will be the Club World Cup. Well, we do hope that they would sit and look into this and settle it amicably. And of course, Joseph, more stories. All
right, more stories away from football. We know that Rwanda cricket captain, his name is Didier, has warned that his team should not be judged by their opening day defeat to Nigeria in the opening ongoing West African Trophy tournament at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval in Lagos. The Rwanda suffered a 54-run defeat in the hands of the Yellow Greens on Wednesday, despite showing some flashes with the blowing in the first innings of the game. Nigeria survived the scare and posted 128 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in 20 overs in the first innings.
Well, cricket used to be a game that I love, and of course I still love it and want to understand it more, but definitely that's the current update coming from that angle that the Yellow Greens of Nigeria started their campaign in the 2023 West African Trophy Tour on a very sound note. Well, congratulations to them. More games are to come, and let's see how they can be able to handle that. Now, sticking with the world of unlimited sports as it concerns information coming in for Nigeria. Let's talk about the China tour currently ongoing, where the Tigers, that's the basketball team of Nigeria, is currently participating in it. Now, the Nigerian senior male basketball team, the Tigers, on Wednesday defeated the USA national basketball team 75-70, if you ask me, a very close margin right there at the ongoing autumn tournament held in China. It will be recalled that the Tigers have defeated the USA national team in a preparatory game prior to the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, and it was a feat never achieved by any African country in the history of the game. But we know that the autumn tournament, which started September 30th and ends October 20th, is being played across different cities in China. A Nigerian national basketball team will be moving to another city today, which is Thursday, in continuation of its games in the tournament.
You're still watching Sports Swing on Western Swing Television. We need to go on the break, give you highlights from some of the matches played yesterday, UEFA Champions League. When we come back, more analysis on that, and of course, more stories making headlines. We'll be back.
And Alvaro Morata, who was suspended last weekend, wins an immediate recall in place of Angel Correa, ahead of Newcastle United loanee Yankuba Minteh. It's his third campaign in charge. Away we go then.